Started?
Yes.
Okay, sounds great. Well, welcome to class today, everybody. Thank you for joining us. So today we are going to be finishing our story that we've been reading. So before we start, let's do a little bit of a review. So if everyone can have their story ready, whether it's on your computer or if you have it printed out, let's try to remember what our story was about. So we're going to read the first paragraph right now. We're going to do it a little differently today. So Barry, can I please have you read the first paragraph when you have the story ready?
Okay.
And 1 minute, sorry, Barry. Stella, do you have this ready?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And Bright, do you have this?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you, Barry. You can start now.
The teacher in this classroom must be extremely boring, as all the children have fallen asleep. Actually, it is part of the daily routine for most Taiwanese school children from from 12 till 12:30. They eat their lunch. This is followed by a nap less until about 1:20. Some teachers believe that by having the children take a short nap after lunch, they will be refreshed and ready to run for the second half of the day.
Very good. Great job at reading, Barry. So we read the first paragraph. So in this passage, what is it about? So Stella, I'll ask you, what is this first paragraph about?
It is about the nap time.
Very good. The nap time that the students take at school, right? And so in our picture, Bright, in this picture for our story, what do you see in the picture? What do you see?
They are nap time.
Very good. Or they are taking a nap, and it is nap time at school. Very good. So our second paragraph is going to talk more about nap time and what some students think about nap time. Before we do that, we're going to go over some of our homework from last time. So for our homework, we were supposed to finish filling in the blank. Filling in the blank. So in case you don't have it, I'll add this worksheet, this homework from last week in the chat again. So I'll give you guys a second to have this ready. So we are going to see what the correct answers were for these questions. So Barry, do you have this worksheet ready?
Yes.
Very good. And Bright, what about you?
Yes.
And Stella?
Yes.
Awesome. You guys are on top of it. Very good. So we did some of these in class last week, but we're going to go ahead and go over them again. So we're on practice 2, fill in the blank. Let's start with number 1. She was blank after taking a long nap. So Stella, what would be the correct answer?
She was refreshed after taking a long nap.
Very good. refreshed. And thank you for saying the complete sentence. Very good. Number 2, Barry.
Braden just got a new dog, so uh, so he must be really excited.
Very good. Must was the correct answer. Great job. Now, number 3. Part of my blank is to do my homework right after school. Bright, what was the answer for number 3?
Daily.
Close. What's another word you think we could use? So we know daily means something we do every day, but what is the word that we use to describe things we do?
Routine.
Very good, routine. So can you say the whole sentence now?
Part of my routine is to do my homework right after school.
Very good, great job. Number 4, Stella.
I'm ready to fall asleep after a long day at work.
Very good. Number 5, Bright.
I'm from a
I think Bright is frozen. Let's see if it gets back working. Okay, hopefully his computer will start working again. But Barry, could you do number 5 for us then, please?
From 8 till 9, I am in math class.
Very good, till. Stella, number 6.
Maria thought she failed her history exam. Actually, he did quite well.
Very good, actually. Barry, number 7.
I try to exercise daily.
Very good, daily. Number 8, Stella.
Sorry, my internet.
It's okay, no problem. I'm glad you're back.
In
So
class,
go ahead, Stella.
in class today, we read a story. This was followed by a short exam.
Very good, followed. So Bright, we're on number 9 now. So can you do number 9 for us?
The music party. The music at the party is master loud.
So it's not must. So we know Barry used must for another sentence already. What is a word that could work here? What do you think? We're talking about music. Maybe it's really loud. What's another word for really? I think I heard you say it.
Daisy.
Nope, not daily. Want to try one more time? What's another word for really?
Followed.
Nope, I'm sorry. Let's see if one of our classmates can help us. So, Stella, what did you get for number 9?
Extremely.
Extremely. So, remember, Bright, extremely? So, remember we had the examples. The girl's hair is extremely long. It's really long. So, can you please read the sentence, Bright, with the word extremely?
The music at the party is extremely loud.
Very good. So if it's extremely loud, it means it's really loud. Thank you. Number 10, Barry.
My my art class my art class uh, last until 12.
Very good. Last. So that means that up until 12 o'clock. So that's how long your art class was. So we use the word last. Very good. Great job, you guys. So for practice 3, you were supposed to answer a question using complete sentences. Do you think students should take naps after lunch? So, Stella, why don't we start with you? Please answer in complete sentences.
Yes, because if you don't take a nap after lunch, you will be very tired and you can't pay attention on the class.
Very good answer. That's a very good answer. That's a good point. That makes a lot of sense. We want to be able to pay attention, right? Great job. So now, Stella, instead of me asking Barry the question, can you please ask Barry the question I asked you?
Do you think the students should take a naps after lunch? Why or why not?
If the student got enough sleep, then they don't need it.
That's a good point too, because if they already got enough sleep at home, maybe they don't need to take a nap, right? Very good. So now, Barry, can you please ask Bright the question?
Do you think students should take naps after lunch? Why or why not? Please answer using complete sentence.
Yes, I think sleep is very important because if don't sleep in the after will be very tired.
Very good. Sleep is important. So your answer is a little like Stella's, right? If the students don't get sleep, then they'll be really tired. Very good. All of those were really good answers. So thank you all for doing your homework. So let's move on to the next part of class. We're going to take a look at our new vocabulary words. So give me a second while I pull those up. Okay. So let's get right started with our new words. So as usual, please repeat after me. Standard.
Enter.
Standard.
Very good. So if something is standard, it means it's usual or expected, or you can even say normal. So let's look at our examples. This is the standard book for our English class.
This is a
This is the
Standard book
standard
number
book
book for
for
our
for
English
our
English class.
English class.
Gray is the standard color for this type of laptop.
Red is a
the
standard color for this
color
type of laptop.
for this type of laptop.
Very good. So if we look at this first sentence, this is the standard book for our English class. That means that book is the usual book or the normal book. It's the one you always use in English. In our second sentence, gray is the standard color for this type of laptop. So it's the usual or expected or normal color. So these laptops are usually gray. And this is just an example, of course. So again, standard. Position.
Position.
So your position, it's the way in which you're lying down, the way that you're sitting, or the way that you're standing. So let's look at our examples. I go to sleep on my back, but I always wake up in a different position.
I go to sleep
I go to
on my
see
back,
on my back.
but
I
I
always
always wake up
wake
in
up
a
in a
different
different
position.
position.
Alex doesn't like to stand for a long time. He feels more comfortable in a sitting position.
Alice
Alex
doesn't like to
like
Doesn't
stand
like
to
to
for
stand
long.
stand
for a
for a
long
long
He
time.
time.
feels
He
more
He feels
feels
comfortable
more
more
in
comfortable
a
comfortable
sitting
in
in
a
a
sleeping
position.
sitting position.
Excellent. So in our first example, going to sleep on your back, that's one position, but maybe you wake up all curled up or on your stomach. That's a different position. It's the way you're lying down, like in this picture. Now, in our second sentence, maybe somebody doesn't like to stand for a long time. They feel more comfortable in a sitting position. So we see in this picture, he's sitting down. This is a position. He's sitting. So very good. Next word, hunched.
Hunched.
So to be hunched, it's when you're leaning forward, your shoulders are up or raised, like we see in this picture. They're hunched over. Or you could be bending your back and shoulders and it's round. So we see it makes a curve. Someone might sit at their desk hunched over. So let's look at our examples. She sits at her desk with her shoulders hunched and her head down.
She
She
sits at
sits
her
at
desk
her desk
with
with
That's
her
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 shoulders
and
shoulder
hunched
her
and
head
hunched
her
down.
and
head
her
down.
head down.
Standing hunched over can make your back hurt.
Standing hunched
Standing
Standing
over
hunched
can
over
make
over
can
your back
make your
hurt.
back.
make your back.
Very good. So again, hunched. And we can look at these pictures to show what that means. So Bright, I want to ask you, what does it look like to be hunched over? Show me. What does it look like? So we see like in this picture, what does it look like to be hunched over? What happens with our shoulders?
Uh,
You can show me, you can do it.
not uh, a little strange.
Yeah, it does look a little strange, right? So when we're hunched, It can even cause us pain. It can cause your back to hurt. So very good. Thank you. Okay, next. To rest.
To
Rest.
rest.
To rest.
My mom told me to rest because I am sick.
My mom told me to rest because
Rest.
I am
I
sick.
am sick.
James always rests after a long day at school.
James always rests
Rest
after a
after a
long
long
day
day
at
at
school.
Long as
Very good. So if we're resting, if we rest, you're taking time to relax or sleep. So to rest doesn't always mean you have to be asleep. You could just be lying on your bed or on a couch, relaxing, or it can mean sleeping. You could also rest maybe your arm. I could rest my arm on my chair or rest my head on my desk, like the students in the picture from our story. They're resting their head on their desk. To fold.
to
To
fold.
fold.
She folds her arms across her chest.
She folds
She
her
folds
arms
She
her
folds
arms
arms
across her
across her
chest.
chest.
I fold the piece of paper.
I fold a
I
piece
fold
I
of
a
fold
piece
paper.
of
a piece
paper.
of paper.
So to fold something is to bend it so that one part of it is on top of the other part. And this could also mean for a body part. So if you're folding your arms, we can see in this picture, the man folds his arms across his chest. One arm is on top of the other. Or you could fold a piece of paper. So when this person folds it, one piece is on top of the other to fold. Uncomfortable.
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 Very good. So if we look closely at this word, let's break it apart. If you take away the UN, we have the word comfortable. If something is comfortable, it means it feels good, you're not in pain, you're not hurting, you feel relaxed. So if something is uncomfortable, it means the opposite. So you're not comfortable, it doesn't feel good, and it could even cause you to feel pain. So let's look at our examples. These shoes are too small. They feel uncomfortable.
These
These
shoes are
shoes
too small.
are too
They
small.
feel
They feel
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable.
My back hurts because this chair is really uncomfortable.
My back
My
hurts
back
My back
hurts
because
hurts
the
because
chair
because
this
really
this
chair
chair
is
is
really
really uncomfortable.
uncomfortable.
Very good, you guys. So in this first sentence and in this first picture, maybe your shoes are too small. They make your feet hurt. The shoes feel uncomfortable. They don't feel good. You don't feel relaxed. It's uncomfortable. In the second sentence and the second picture, this chair is really uncomfortable. It makes her back hurt. It doesn't feel good to sit in that chair. So again, uncomfortable. To claim.
To
okay.
claim.
To claim.
So you might recognize this. We learned this word with our story about the the story about the prank Remember the boy who pretended to be a pizza guy? To claim. So to claim is to say something or to say that something is true or it's a fact, but other people might not believe you and it may or may not be true. We don't know. So let's look at our example again. She claims that she likes to eat vegetables, but I don't believe her.
She
She
claims
claims
that
that
As
she
she
likes
likes
vegetable,
to
to
eat
eat
but I
vegetables,
vegetable,
don't
but
believe.
but
I
I
don't
don't
believe
believe
her.
her.
Very good. So she claims she likes vegetables. She says it's true, but someone else might not believe her, and she might not be able to prove that it's true. So again, to claim. Soar.
So,
Soar.
Or
We use the word sore to describe if something hurts or feels painful or is uncomfortable. So our example, his legs feel sore after exercising for too long.
His legs
his
feel
leg
they
feels
sore
feel
sore
so
after
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 exercising
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 for
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 too
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 long.
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 Very good. So we look in this picture, he may have been running all day and now his legs are sore. They hurt. They don't feel good. So the same could be said if we look back at this picture. Her feet are probably sore from wearing shoes that are too small. Her back might be sore from sitting in an uncomfortable chair. So again, sore, we use it to describe if something hurts or makes us feel uncomfortable. Belly.
Belly.
Belly,
Belly.
My little sister's belly hurts because she ate too much cake.
My
My
little
little
sister
sister's
her
belly
belly
because
hurts
hurts
she
because
because
ate
she
she
too
too
much
ate
cake.
much.
too much cake.
Very good. So your belly, it's just another way of saying your stomach area. So belly is more of a casual way to say it. So in this example, her belly hurts, she ate too much cake. So it's just another way of saying your stomach area, your belly. Regardless of.
Regardless
Regardless
of.
of.
Very good. So this is a phrase. So it's made up of two words. We use this phrase to show that someone will say or do something even if it goes against someone or something else. So let's try to understand this. Let's look at our examples. Our first sentence, Kim always tells the truth regardless of what others want to hear.
Kim
And
always tells
Always
the
tells
truth,
true, regardless
regardless
of
because
of
of
what
others.
that
others
others
want to hear.
want to hear.
Very good. So if we think about this definition, so even if others want to hear something else, they don't want to hear the truth, regardless of that, Kim will still tell the truth. She will tell the truth even if it goes against what others want. So that's why we use the words regardless of. She tells the truth regardless of what they want to hear. Next example. We will go to the beach regardless of the weather?
We
We
will
will
go
go
the
to
beach
the
garden
beach
weather.
regardless of the weather.
Very good. So maybe it's raining really hard, the weather's bad, like we see in this picture, but even though the weather might be bad, we will go to the beach no matter what. We will go to the beach regardless of the weather. So these two examples sort of help us understand what regardless of means. Do you have any questions about what this means? Or any questions about these sentences? Okay, very good then. So remember always, if you ever have a question or would like to know more about something, feel free to unmute yourself and go ahead and ask me. So let's look at our next word, weather.
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 So we see this is not the same kind of weather that we have here, talking about the clouds and the sun. This is a different kind of weather. So this word is used to show two or more options or possibilities, things that could happen. So let's look at our examples. Someone has to say something, whether it's you or me.
Someone
One
has
has
to
to say
say
something,
something,
whether
whether it's
it's
you
you
Whether
or me.
or me.
or me.
Very good. So we use the word whether here to show that there's two options. Someone has to say something, whether it's you or me. So there's an option here. Either you'll say something or I will say something. Second example. We are going to the library whether you like it or not.
We are going to
Of
We
the
are
library.
going to
library,
Whether
the
what
library,
you like it or
whether
it
you
or
like
not.
it or not.
Very good. So here too, there's two options. Someone might want to go to the library, they'll like it, or they won't want to go. But whether they do feel that way, they want to go or not, they still have to go. So the word whether, it's used to show there's two ways that person could feel. Policy.
Policy.
So a policy is set rules or standards, and standards are sort of like rules. So let's look at our examples. My science teacher has a no eating policy.
My
My
science teacher
science teacher
has
has
a no
a
eating
no eating
policy.
in
policy.
privacy.
The school policy is that all students must be on time for class.
The
The
school
school
policy is
policy
that all
is
students
that all
be on
students
time
must
for
be
class.
on time
Be
for
on time
class.
for class.
Very good. So in this first example, my science teacher has a no eating policy. So that means that is their rule or standard. Students are not allowed to eat in class. That's their policy, their rule. In our second example, the school has a policy or a rule that everyone has to be on time. That's their policy. So, Stella, can you think of a policy that your teacher or your school has?
We should pay attention on
Very good. That's a policy or rule. Your teachers want you to pay attention. Very good. Barry, what about you? Can you think of a policy that your school or one of your teachers has?
My class teacher want our honest.
Can you say that one more time, Barry, please?
Uh, my class teacher want us honest.
Oh, yes, honesty. They want you to be honest. Is that what you meant, Barry?
Yes.
Very good. That's a very good policy. That's usually a policy that teachers have for students to be honest. That's a good answer. What about you, Bright? Can you think of a policy that your
Mm,
school or your teachers have?
my class policy is not sleep.
Not sleeping during class?
Yes.
That's a good policy too. Very good. Thank you, guys. Let's look at our next word or our phrase. Get used to.
Get used
Get
to.
used to.
To get used to something means to become familiar with it, or it could be a person too. So let's look at our examples. It will probably take a few days for the students to get used to their new teacher.
It
It
will
will
probably take
probably
a
take
few
a
days
few
for
days
For
for
students
students
the
to
students
get
to
used
get
to
used
their new
to
teacher.
their new
their
teacher.
new teacher.
After this past year, I am used to washing my hands a lot.
After this
After
past
this
This
year,
past
past
I'm
year,
year,
used to
I'm
wash
I'm
used to
my
used
hands
washing
to
a lot.
washing my hands a lot.
a lot.
Very good. So in this first example, and we can look at this picture, if a class has a new teacher, it might take them a few days to get used to their new teacher, to become familiar with her, and to get to know her. In our second example, after this past year, I'm used to washing my hands a lot. We know there was well, still is the coronavirus pandemic. So we all had to wash our hands a lot so that we wouldn't get sick. So we're familiar with washing our hands a lot. We have gotten used to doing that. Room.
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 So when we are talking about a room, it could be talking, it could, we could be speaking about a space in our house, maybe the bathroom or your bedroom. In this case, we are just talking about space for a person or a thing or many things. So let's look at our examples. My dad said we can't get another dog because there is not enough room in our house.
My
My
dad
dad
said
said we
we can't
can't
get
get another
another
dog
dog because
because
there is
there is
not
not
enough room
enough
The
room
in
in
our
house.
our
house.
house.
Very good. So this picture, I like it because it has a lot of dogs, but in this example, maybe you want another pet, another dog, but your parents say, nope, there's not enough room or space. There's not enough space for them. Second example, is there room in your backpack for your books?
Is here
Is
room
there
in
room
your
in
Room
your
in your
backpack
backpack
for
backpack
your
or
books?
for your books?
Very good. So, is there space? That's what it means. Is there space in our backpack? So, again, room in this case, in our passage today, it means space for a person or things. Budget.
budget,
Budget.
Budget.
So a budget is the amount of money that you can spend. So let's look at our example. The school doesn't have room in the budget for new books.
The school
The
doesn't
school
have
doesn't
room
have
in
none
the
in the
budget
budget
for
of
books.
for new books.
So the school has a budget. So that means they have a certain amount of money that they can spend. So if the school doesn't have room or space in the budget for new books, that means there's not enough money to buy new books. So schools can have a budget. A person could have a budget. You have a certain amount of money that you can spend. Okay, last one. So we're just going to look over here. Dozens of.
Dozens of.
Dozens of.
So when we use the phrase dozens of, we're speaking about a big number, a large number, but we don't have an exact number. It just means a lot. So let's look at our examples. I've read dozens of books.
I've
I
read
have read
dozens of
dozens of books.
My brothers drank dozens of sodas at the party yesterday.
My
My
brother
brother
drank
drank
dozens of soda
dozens
in
of
the party
soda at the
yesterday.
party yesterday.
Very good. So in this first example, I've read dozens of books. So you've read a lot of books. There's not an exact number, but it means a lot. Same here. My brothers drank dozens of sodas. So there's not an exact number, but they drank a lot of sodas. So that's when we use the phrase dozens of. Okay, I know that was a lot of new words for today, but you guys did a great job. So now go ahead and take your time to create your sentence and use at least one of the words or phrases, and you can use more than one if you'd like. And as usual, when you're finished, please type your sentence into the chat. So I'll let you guys do that now. So I see one sentence. Thank you very much. see a second sentence. Thank you. And our last sentence. Okay, great work, guys. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay. So, Bright, let's start with you. Can you please share your sentence with us?
My feet feel sore in this hard race.
Perfect sentence. Great job. So you used the word soar. Awesome. Barry, let's hear your sentence.
If you have wrong position, you will feel sore and uncomfortable.
Very good, Barry. So I see position, sore, and uncomfortable. Great job. Because if we're sitting in a chair the wrong way, we could definitely feel sore and uncomfortable. So great sentence. Stella, your turn.
You will get used to the weather in there.
Very good. So you use get used to. Very good sentence. So great job, you guys. You did a lot of good work. I know those were a lot of words. That was a lot of words. So let's finish our story now. So let's go back to nap time at school, and we're going to read and discuss the second paragraph. So I'll read it once, and then you'll repeat after me. Okay. So again, starting on paragraph 2. The standard position seems to be hunched over with your head resting on folded arms. Some students say that this is a very uncomfortable position and claim that it gives them sore arms. Others say that being hunched over while having a full belly makes them feel a bit sick. Regardless of whether or not they like it, it is the policy of some teachers. I hope those students who don't like it get used to it, as there is no room in the classroom or the school budget for dozens of beds. Okay, so let's read it again, and this time repeat after me. The standard position seems to be hunched over with your head resting on folded arms.
The standard
The
position
standard
seems to
position
be
seems to
hunched
be
over
hunched
with
over
your head
with your head
resting
resting
unfold arms.
Some students say that this is a very uncomfortable position and claim that it gives them sore arms.
Some
Some
students say
students
that
say that this
this is a
is
very
a very
uncomfortable
uncomfortable
position
position and
and
claim
can
that
that
it gives
it gives
them
them
sore
sore
arms.
arms.
Others say that being hunched over while having a full belly makes them feel a bit sick.
Others say that being hunched over while
So
having a full belly
hopefully make
makes
them
them feel
feel a
a
bit
bit
sick.
sleep.
Regardless of whether or not they like it, it is the policy of some teachers.
Regardless of
Regardless of
whether or
whether or
not they
not
like
they
it,
like it,
it is
it
the
is the
policy of
policy of
some
some
teachers.
teachers.
I hope those students who don't like it get used to it, as there is no room in the classroom or the school budget for dozens of beds.
I hope
I
those
hope those
students who
students
don't
who
like
don't
it
like
get
it
used to
get
it,
used to it,
as there
as
is no
there
room
no
in the
room in
class
classroom
or the
or the
school
school budget
budget
for
for
dozens
those
of beds.
of beds.
Very good. I know that was a long paragraph. Great job. So now let's talk about it. So, Stella, what is the standard position when taking a nap?
It seems to be hunched over with your head resting on folded arms.
Very good. So, hunched over, your arms folded, your head resting, right? So, Barry, how do some students feel about this? Do all of them like resting like this?
No,
Why not? What do some say?
some students say it's very uncomfortable and their arm will sore.
Yeah, so having their arms like this on their desk, their head, it makes them feel sore. And Bright, others say that being hunched over when their belly is full, how do they say it makes them feel when their belly is full and they have to be hunched over?
So say again.
How do some students feel when their belly is full and they have to be hunched over? How does it make them feel?
Feel uncomfortable and sore.
Very good. They can feel uncomfortable and sore, and it could also make them feel sick because their belly is full after eating lunch. So it can make them feel sick. So I know you guys said at school this is normal to have nap time. So Stella, do you ever feel uncomfortable or sick from resting on your desk?
Yes,
You do? Can you say it in a complete sentence, please?
yes, I feel uncomfortable on this.
Okay, wow. What about you, Barry?
Can you say it again?
So we read in the story, some students feel uncomfortable or sore or sick because of resting on their desk. Do you ever feel like that?
Uh, yes.
Can you answer in a complete sentence?
I feel same feels.
You feel the same?
Yes.
Okay, and that's what the story says. Some students feel like that, but regardless of whether or not the students like it, it's the teacher's policy. So, Bright, do you remember what is a policy?
Rules.
Very good. It's rules. So, that's the rule for some teachers. That's their policy. Now, Stella, one last question. Why can't the school buy a bunch of beds? Why can't they just buy dozens of beds?
Because there is no room in the class.
Very good. There's no room in the classroom for all those beds. And there's another reason too, Barry. Why else can't they buy beds?
Hmm. Hmm. Because they don't have money.
Very good. And what's our word that we learned today?
They don't have budget for beds.
Very good. There's not enough room in the budget for all those beds. So there's no room in the classroom and there's no room in the budget. So very good. Great answers. So we're almost done with class today. Let's go over the homework really quick. So you have another worksheet and it's our usual things to do for your homework. So first, for practice 1, you need to match the correct word or phrase to the picture. So you guys are always really great at that. On the second page for practice 2, you have true or false. So you read the sentence, and if it's true, you circle it. If it's false, you circle that and correct the sentence. You write the correct sentence. And for practice 3, you have fill in the blank. So that's all you have to do for your homework. I put it in the chat earlier. So Barry, were you able to download worksheet 2?
Yes.
Very good. What about you, Bright? Were you able to download worksheet number 2, the homework?
Yes.
And Stella?
Yes.
Awesome. You guys are great. So very good. Great job with the story today, with your sentences. And so go ahead and complete this for homework. So class time is up. Thank you so much for all your hard work. And I don't know if Luke is going to come back on, but oh, there he is.
Yeah, thank you for another great lesson.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Okay, everyone say thank you to teacher Xiahna.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank
Xiahna.
you, teacher Xiahna.
You're welcome. Have a great weekend.
You too. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
See you next
Bye.
week. Bye bye.
See you next week.